So while we're waiting for somebody to fess up as to what their first sci-fi movie was uh, in the theater, thought I'd answer one or two questions. First question that we got was from Sean Chatterton, who is a denizen um, of the space opera groups, space opera writers specifically, is where he asked this one. And he says, "Where besides your brain do you get your ideas?" Well, Sean, you and I used to be inside the same dome, wink, wink, and you know that my brain is a pretty interesting place. In fact, I think most people in that group have very interesting brains. Some of them addled, but we don't discuss that. It's a private group, and I'm really not supposed to be revealing it. What are you guys gonna do? Kick me out? Where do I get some of the ideas? I think the whole series was I wanted to do a space opera that wasn't Star Trek, which is mostly what I knew at the time. And obviously, you couldn't go back and reinvent Battlestar Galactica. It was its own thing. The original is its own thing. The Ron Moore reboot was its own thing. Do you love this glorious shaking cam, by the way? But bits and pieces come about here and there. Magic Root, which is the book that kicks off the series, at least till they finish parceling out No Marigolds in the Promised Land. Um, I wanted to start the series because right now it revolves around the invasion of Amargosa, and I thought, let's start from the aliens' point of view. And I tried to get a little cagey with that and, make the alien mark MARQ. I wanted them to, people to, read this and go, oh, Kai and Tishla are not human. Okay. But I think it was the first time that he stuck his finger in her belly button that it dawned on you that, okay, their anatomy is different. They're the aliens. And then kind of hint that the human, that Mark was human. As the series goes by, you hear the mention of the word Tian. So when they refer to him as being Tianese, it's obvious he is human. And later in the book, when he accompanies Tishla back into compact space for reasons that don't become obvious until later, it's plenty obvious that he's not only human, he's not who he says he is. So I thought that was an unusual idea. The Marylinists, the lady I was married to before, I refer to her as my favorite ex. And I have to be careful because her and, here we go, phone's misbehaving on me. Her and my fiance have become really good friends, so now I can't get away with anything. I'm like, when I was married to Juanita, she did. No, yeah, she can check that out now. But Juanita liked Marilyn Monroe, and I wrote this while I was still married to her, and I said, what if there was a cult to Marilyn Monroe? Because you have cults to Elvis, and you have cults to, there really is a cult to Elvis. There's a church of Elvis, and I sat there and thought, let's project this forward 500 years. I don't buy the conceit. There's this kind of idealistic thing where people say, oh, well, religion's disappearing. No, it's not. It's just changing. It's just changing. And usually the people who say that have basically replaced their copies of Watchtower with the God Delusion. Unfortunately, they are the same people who would knock on, if they were Jehovah's Witnesses, would be knocking on your door Saturday morning. Sorry, you just accepted Nada as your personal Lord and Savior. But those are, atheism, anything that's kind of modern right now, it would just kind of evolve and just play whatever its role is to suit the needs of the time. You have churches now where they have rock and roll and free coffee. I'm all about that. I'm all about the free coffee. So, I said, what if you took one of those cults to Elvis and it evolved into a religion? And I don't mean like Scientology, where you have Lena Remini pointing out that it's a big real estate scam. Sorry, David Miscavige. You're a con artist. What if it actually evolved into something real? And I pictured these, 50-foot statues of Marilyn Monroe in that dress that's billowing up from the subway. And I just ran with that. And that was how the Marylinists came about. And then little bits. I I remember complaining one time that a lot of military sci-fi was either taking, was trying to be an Americanized battleship Yamato and saying, okay, let's turn the USS Ronald Reagan into an aircraft, a flying aircraft carrier. I thought, well, that works for Marvel. That doesn't work for me. What if the ships looked like aircraft carriers? Because that's what Earth people harken back to. China has their first aircraft carrier. Russia had them. France has them. Britain has them. Of course, the U.S., we just absolutely love our aircraft carriers. I'm going to sit up here because I'm old and I have a bad back. And so that's where the Woodrow Wilson class, little things like that. The Gelt reproductive system. I wanted to make the Gelt different from humans, and so, well, actually, I just did an obscene gesture in Gelt. Okay, so we can't show this video in the realm. Little things, I mean, you just see little things going by. You're on a primitive planet that's becoming more modern. How do you get around? Maglev's got to be old technology by then. I mean, they have them in Germany, they have them in Japan. They keep trying to build them in America. But we're so rail-phobic here. I don't know why we don't build them. But things like that. Mark or Luxholm or Marcus Lightman. I just basically have to tune into Game of Thrones and just watch a Littlefinger walk around. And I mean, that guy just nails it. I mean, Netflix, if you buy this as a series, you have to go get Aidan Gillen. You have to get Aidan Gillen. Okay, Aidan Gillen. Netflix, HBO. All right. Be back with the prize winner here in a little bit.